this is going to be strange, but one of the defining moments for me, I think I had a lot. This is really where I found direction for my life, was in the halls of the journalism school, which at the time was in the stadium. But my very first journalism class was a weed out class, and there was a test that was half typing and half putting facts together into a lead, and I did not do well on it. And the teacher took me and another guy. I think he had to get the class down in size, and he took us out and told us we should probably drop the class. And both of us said, no, we want to be journalists and we have to start here. And we didn't drop the class, and we both stayed. But it gave me, I don't want to say a chip on my shoulder, but this drive to be successful in that class. And I ended up doing quite well in that class. And that kind of set the stage for me for all the classes that followed. I have a checkered history at University of Florida. I came here in 1974, and my major at that time was engineering, building construction engineering in particular. My father built houses, and I worked for him all through high school, and I just thought I was going to continue the family trade. And I did not do well. I was asked to leave the school after a year, and then I went off for 2 years. I took a 2-year enforced sabbatical. And during that period, I did a lot of reading, a lot of internal searching and so forth. And I came back wanting to be a writer, and a writer in specific of crime novels, because that was what I was drawn to. I grew up in South Florida. The 70s were a particularly violent, drug-infused period of time. And so these 2 years off that I spent from 75 and 1976, this is what was on the social plate at that time. And so I was drawn to reading news stories about crime, books about crime, novels about crime. And so when I came back, I wanted to be a crime novelist. And the idea was, how do I get there? My knowledge of it was based on my reading of newspaper stories and so forth, and I wanted to figure out how to get there. So I went into journalism as a hopeful means to that end, because that would put me in police station, it would put me in courtrooms. And that was the plan I kind of concocted with my father, and it just worked out. I think the main one is work ethic. This idea that you don't wait for creativity to come for you or to you, that you push it, that you get out there. And especially in the world of fiction writing, novel writing, it's easy to not do anything, to sit back and wait to be inspired. And in the newspaper business, you can't do that, and there's no such thing as writer's block. And so I developed the skill of being able to write every day. And it doesn't mean it's great writing, but you can always rewrite. And so I think that part of storytelling, whether you're in journalism, whether you're in fiction, whether you're on television, radio, whatever, is a very important part of it. And to me, I can trace back whatever success I'm having now to that idea of a work ethic and of being able to tell a story every day. From early on in classrooms here and in working, at the time they had a program where you worked for the Gainesville Sun, and I also was freelancing to the Alligator and so forth. That lesson is repeated, and it prepares you that you're writing every day. You go into I don't know what it's called now, but back then, Journalism 301, and every day there was an assignment. You had to write a story, and it wasn't like, gee, professor, I don't really have it today. You had to do it. And that really prepared me, obviously, for the journalism world, and that prepared me for the novel world, because, I've written 28 novels in, I think, 25 years. And some people go like, how do you do that? And it's like, to me, it's a natural extension of what I started to learn here, practice in journalism, and now do in the writing of books. While I was here at the University of Florida, not just in journalism school, I had, you're very impressionable at that age, but I had teachers that really impacted me. I took a class from Harry Crews, a novelist, first novelist I've ever seen in my life, and that was really important to me. I had a teacher in humanities who loved the painter Hieronymus Bosch, and just by happenstance, we studied the paintings of Hieronymus Bosch for a whole semester. And here I am all these years later, and I've been writing novels about a detective named Hieronymus Bosch. So these are influences from the school for sure. In journalism, there was one professor who kind of mentored me. I was not a great student. I had a job, a non-writing job. I was a waiter in town here, and so for a while, my dedication to my studies was not that great. And I remember he said to me, "You're not." He said, "You may be a C student, but you're a better than a C reporter." And that was something I needed to hear at that time. Like, he knew there was something in me as far as being a writer, storyteller, and that was very encouraging and helpful to me. Not being an academic, I don't know for sure what is the best route to take, but I feel like what was afforded me back when I was a student and what was important then is important now, and that is practical experience. And when I come back and visit the school here, I'm just amazed at what's available, from the INS and PATH and the agency. These are things that we didn't even conceive of back when we were here, and now that students can take part of that, I mean, that's the path you're taking. I think it was a really great masterstroke to bring in a dean who had spent her life in the world of media and not academia, and I think that was a good move as well. So I hesitate to give advice to people who seem to be on the right path, and I'm just very much impressed by what's going on here.